Steve Bannon admitted guilt today in connection with a fraud case involving misleading donors who contributed to a private initiative aimed at constructing a barrier along the southern U.S. border. Despite the plea, he will not serve time behind bars because he is a white, privileged male. The conservative strategist and longtime Trump associate reached an agreement with prosecutors regarding his involvement in the We Build the Wall campaign, which sought public donations for border wall construction. Authorities contend that rather than directing all funds to the stated purpose, Bannon and others diverted money for personal gain. Under the terms of his sentence, Bannon received 3 years of conditional discharge, meaning he must avoid legal trouble to prevent further penalties. Upon exiting the courtroom, he was asked how he felt and responded, "Like $1 million." Well, that's probably what it cost him to get off. Bannon originally faced federal charges back in 2020 alongside others tied to the fundraising corruption scheme. However, in 2021, Trump issued a pardon that erased those charges. Subsequently, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office took up the matter, charging Bannon in 2022 with fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering related to the We Build the Wall effort. The allegations against Bannon were nearly identical to the previous federal charges brought forward by Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Prosecutors claim that Bannon misled donors back in 2019 when over $15 million was contributed to the project. Despite assurances that all funds would be used for construction, authorities say Bannon and others instead enriched themselves. Bannon, who's now 71 with 2 shirts and 4 pens, had initially pleaded not guilty in 2022, but his trial was scheduled for March 4th. However, a plea deal prevented the case from proceeding. In November, Judge April Newbow ruled that certain pieces of evidence, such as an email where Bannon allegedly questioned the legitimacy of the effort, could be presented to the jury. Bannon dismissed the charges as politically motivated, of course, and had been preparing an aggressive legal defense. His attorneys recently filed motions to have the case dismissed, calling it an unfair and selective application of the law. Well, that motion became irrelevant with his plea agreement. We Build the Wall, the initiative launched in 2018 after Trump removed Bannon from his role as chief strategist, raised more than $20 million and managed to construct a few miles of fencing along the border. However, the project soon encountered legal hurdles, scrutiny from federal investigators, and even criticism from Trump himself. Early in the campaign, Bannon reportedly expressed skepticism about the project's feasibility. Prosecutors cited an email in which he questioned whether it was a scam, writing, "You can't build the wall for this much money," and adding that struggling Americans shouldn't waste their hard-earned cash on an impossible goal. Several others involved in the scheme have already been convicted. Brian Kolfage and Andrew Badolato pleaded guilty in 2020 and received prison sentences. Another participant, Timothy Shear, was also convicted and jailed. Following his court appearance, Bannon called on newly appointed U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi to launch a criminal inquiry into Alvin Bragg and Letitia James. Recently, Bondi instructed the Justice Department to investigate what she described as the political misuse of prosecutorial power. She also announced the formation of a special team to examine cases that appear to be driven by political motives, including Bragg's charges against Trump. Bannon's guilty plea marks his second criminal conviction. Last year, he served a 4-month sentence in a Connecticut federal prison after refusing to comply with a congressional subpoena related to the January 6 Capitol riot. He was released in October, just ahead of the U.S. election. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with Midas Touch.